Hi, I'm Varun Nair, Community Growth Marketer at Ampliz, and your host for the startup presented by Ampliz. In this show, you can hear founders share their startup experience and learnings. So, for today's podcast, I'm here with yet another episode for Podcast Partnering for a discussion with Mr. Michael Short, who is the founder of Blitz Industries, which is a digital marketing agency for local small and medium sized businesses trying to tap into the enormous online opportunities. His biggest startup achievement that they have developed over 20 premium plugins, all designed to make creating a vast more efficient and giving the best user experiences. So, a small introduction to Michael. So he's based in Seal Beach, which is in Southern California, and has more than 20 plus years of experience into digital marketing, my lord. And he started up a new division of his company developing WordPress plugins for a Waas model. Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining.
Hello, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. And you make me sound old when you say 20 plus years. I hate hearing
My apologies, but when you consider as work experience, you are the godfather, I see, because I've never met a person with such a great experience. And thank you so much. This was the most quickest scheduling I have ever done. I just asked Michael about the podcast. He's like, I'm ready. I'm all yours. So that was very great that for joining for this show. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Pleasure to be here.
thank you. So, Mike, let's get started.
Okay.
So, my first question is why Blitz, and how are you solving the problem with Waas model, and what is Blitz?
All right. So like you mentioned, I've been in business for 20 plus years. And when we started off, we were just an agency at the time. And for many of those years, we have been an agency. We started off as a traditional agency where we were doing ads in magazines and so forth. And when we were trying to sell websites back in the day, we would have to convince people why they needed a website. And I remember them actually telling me at the time, like, we don't need a website. We don't want to just to keep up with the Joneses, is a phrase or a saying here in the US. And so it was very difficult to sell websites back then. But then, obviously times progressed and that became the core business of ours, is to do digital marketing as opposed to traditional marketing. And then we discovered a way to create websites as a service where we can scale our businesses much quicker and efficiently utilizing WordPress multi-sites. But as we got into using the tools that were available to us at the time that we were creating our own Waas, which stands for Websites as a Service, we saw the areas that could use improvement, that there wasn't any tools that were available to do what we thought we needed to do. And more importantly, like we see like examples from SaaS products, and that's where Waas came from, right? So we software as a service. And so we saw, the things that they were doing and the capabilities and expectations that we had as a customer of being able to do. For example, we created something called Reduce Churn Pro just recently, which basically allows it. So if you go to cancel your service on a Waas, it'll pop up with this whole feedback funnel in a sense, asking you, why are you canceling, that kind of stuff. And so these are the types of tools that we built to work with a Waas so that you can have a SaaS-like experience.
That's great. So, like you have mentioned, the biggest achievements like 20 premium plugins. So, which was your favorite plugin you worked with?
Well, so we started with the ThriveCart integration plugin with WP Ultimo. So WP Ultimo is the foundational plugin that is not ours, but is a foundational plugin that we found in the marketplace. There was one other that was recently abandoned by WP MU Dev, which was called ProSites. And we were utilizing that one at first, and then we ran into some complications with it. And so we decided to pick up WP Ultimo and give that a go. And so we did, and we loved it. But again, there was what we wanted to be able to do. The very first plugin that we had, we wanted to be able to offer the ability to have order bumps, upsells, and downsells, just create a sales funnel. And so at the time, cart flows wasn't around yet. And so I found ThriveCart. and we integrated WP Ultimo with ThriveCart. And so that's where we first started. And once I realized we could do that, and we created that. First, obviously, it was to fulfill our own need. And so we made it for our own Waas. And then we decided, let's package this into a plugin and see if other people would have this same exact need or want. And so we did. We created a Facebook group at the time, and now we have a group called the Waas-Pro Developer Network. Actually, that's the original name of the group. If you search up Waas.pro, multi-site business network, I can't even remember. It's pretty long, but basically it's to get the keywords. So when people are searching for a Waas or a multi-site, we come up. Anyways, if you search that, you'll see our group. So basically we presented the new plugin into our group, and it was a hit, if you will. I mean, there are several people that purchased it from us. And so we thought, wow, we can create this plugin. And now we have this idea and this idea and this idea. So let's start creating the plugins that make all this work the way we really want it to work.
That's great. So what was your go-to-market strategy? Like, how did you evaluate your product market?
Yeah. And so again, we had been, so since we started the Facebook group itself, we were able to just be able to have conversations with others that were creating websites as a service, find out some of their needs and desires as well, and just have conversations. And through that, we had our long list of things that we already knew that we needed to do. So as we were developing the community, we were also simultaneously developing our plugins to fulfill our needs first, and then introducing that into the community. But now we're at a stage where, we've kind of gone through our entire list, not entire list, we still have some ideas still, but we've gone through a large list of our plugins that we wanted to develop for ourselves. So now we're really listening to the marketplace and asking them what it is that they need to help their systems get better. And so that we're, that's what we're fulfilling now. So.
Okay. So what is your product market strategy? Like the hacks, channels, which are you using? Like apart from Facebook, what other channels are there?
Yeah, so actually we're in a growth stage now. And so we are actually in the process of creating online training that we're going to be launching for Black Friday. Okay. And what we've noticed that is when people when they become aware of the Waas model, the websites as a service model, they don't know where to start. They're kind of like, okay, I got your tools, I got WP Ultimo, but now what? Or how do I pick a niche, or how do I market it once it's built? And so we just finally decided, you know what, we had enough people asking us this, and so we decided to create what we're calling Waas Camp websites. Campus stands for courses and membership plugins. And so the whole idea is not to just teach you how to use our plugins, although that's a whole component to it. So if you buy our plugins, you'll get that part for free. But the rest of it is more about how to plan your Waas. What are some of the things that you need to do to prepare setting up your Waas? And then you have publishing your Waas. So all the tools that you're going to need to build your Waas, how to use them, how to put it all together, and then promoting your Waas. So the 3 Ps, and promoting is obviously advertising and what are the best strategies to get new customers. And so that's what our Waas Camp is going to include. Once we get through that, though, to answer your question, once we have that foundational level down, then I'm going to make a strong push to do more of these sort of things, where vlogs and podcasts and whatever. Just because I think that there's not enough people that are aware of the opportunity that there is in this new business model. And it's not necessarily new, but it's new in the sense of most people are just still doing it WordPress websites the traditional way, where they're doing single site installs and going one at a time, where this allows you to scale your business much more efficiently and rapidly, because in this type of system, you can literally get 100 new customers in a single day and not be overloaded. Whereas if you got 100 new customers in the traditional sense, and there's just no way that anyone, unless you have a huge team, to be able to put together 100 websites relatively quickly. So just to kind of give you the overall picture of what a Waas looks like. So what it is like someone comes to your landing page. I mean, a great example actually would be Wix. It would be Squarespace. WordPress.com is the biggest multi-site example that there is. However, theirs is way more advanced and custom coded and stuff like that. But with what we have available to us, we can get close to it, but it was certainly, when you get into that level of the number of customers and stuff, you're going to have to understand how to do hosting and things like that better. But yeah, it allows you to build, like, your customers basically go to your website, see your offer, pick a plan. So if you have multiple different plan levels that they can choose from, how many pages they can have, that sort of thing, they pick a plan. then they pick their template that they want, and then automatically they have their site live. Now, there's a little bit more that goes into it than that, and I can get into those details if you'd like, but that's essentially the overall picture. So they literally have a website within 2-3 minutes of going through your wizard of setting up their site, and they have a site that they can go and start building and start changing out, their text and their images and stuff.
Okay, that's great. Like, I've never heard about a model, Waas model. So there is a lot of opportunities for a concept like Waas. So considering that, I think competing WordPress, Squarespace is great. So what worked and what failed and what worked as a digital marketer?
Say that again. What was what?
What actually worked? What all hacks or what all methodologies for digital marketing actually worked for you, and what all failed?
So what strategies work for us as a
Yeah.
digital marketer? So up until this point, we actually, again, we were a digital marketing agency for local businesses. And so we have, several clients in our I guess our client base or whatever. So majority of our clients are automotive based. And so that's why we developed a WAS specific around auto care industry. And so we started creating templates for them. And then that's how we broke into the market and started getting new customers into our WAS originally. So, and now it's word of mouth. Now it's we have a Facebook group around our WAS
Okay.
and that niche. So, yeah.
So more is referral marketing and inbound marketing, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And apart from that, have you tried any outbound market strategies, or have you come across any outbound market strategies recently?
Such as like Facebook advertising and things of that nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. We have done some Facebook advertising. I've taken lessons on that and took courses and stuff. And we haven't quite figured it out, dialed it in yet, to be quite frank. That's just something that is hard to get right, to find the target audience correctly and make sure that your offer is the right offer in front of them. So that's something we're still playing with. We're doing that both on the our WAS side, which is the auto care side. And then we're also still playing with that on the plugin side as well. So it's a challenge, to figure that out, because obviously you're spending money as you're trying to figure it out too.
Yes, yes. So, like you mentioned, you have been working on this Waas model and Blitz industry for a long. So, any funding experience recently, or it's a bootstrapping company?
So any experience prior to a bootstrapping company? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. I mean, other than I would say helping clients that were bootstrapping companies and get their market or get their message out to the market is, we've had a lot of experience with that. As far as our own particular products outside of, actually, you know what, I would have to say, I'm about to say that no, we haven't had any, but I take that back. We actually had our own CMS prior to embracing WordPress almost 20 years ago, about 15 years ago or whatever it was. And we created this entire CMS. And the reason that we ended up just getting rid of it, abandoning it at some point, was because we just couldn't keep up with all the advancements that WordPress was having. Obviously, it's open source, and so you have hundreds of thousands of people contributing to it, whereas ours was just our small team. So our CMS eventually was outdated pretty quickly. And so, but yeah, that was a product that we were able to go out and sell as a productized business. So we set them up with a CMS type of deal. But outside of that, I would say our own personal experience, I would say this is our first, and it's exciting. There's a lot to it. I enjoy the entire process. I enjoy the communications with the customers. I enjoy coming up with the messaging. I enjoy coming up with the ideas for, the various plugins and stuff. So it's super exciting. We actually have a product that we're working on now that I believe will be, it will change. It will be game changing. It's going to change. It's going to disrupt the agency model altogether. And it's all WAS related, but I don't want to say too much. I probably said, I just want to just say that I'm excited about what we do here and the things that we have that we're working on. It's going to be a great future. I'm excited about it.
I'm looking forward for that plugin which you're going to launch. Soon I would like to know the updates on that. So that's a secret project they are working on. They don't want to reveal it, but at the end they will for sure. So
yeah, join our Facebook group and you'll stay abreast to like all of our launches and stuff. I encourage you guys to check out our Facebook group. Even if you're not into the Waas model quite yet, just get in there and find out, what other people are doing. Maybe it'll spark an idea in your mind that you hadn't yet thought of. And so it's just a great community. There's a lot of interactions between a lot of different members. It's not just me like posting up a bunch of stuff and announcements. It really is a lot of involvement from everybody. So I do encourage your listeners to like get in there and check it out.
Definitely. I will leave the descriptions down below with the YouTube description. So keep an eye over there so that you can find the direct group link and you can join the group as soon as possible and be part of the community. Okay, so moving forward. So how many team members are working in Blitz Industry right now?
I have a team of actually 20 spread out across the globe. So yeah.
So everyone is working remote.
For the most part, I have a couple that work here in the office, but the majority of us are working remote. And so we communicate through Skype and then we also work off of Plutio because I know, so that's how we manage our
So workflow management tool. Plutio is basically workflow management tool.
Yeah, that's what we're currently using, correct.
Okay. Yeah. Apart from that, is there any other tools like, for communication? I think you're using Slack most probably.
We did start a Slack group or Slack thing, but I don't utilize Slack that often. I haven't embraced it quite yet. It's mostly just Facebook that we're on right now. I was, as far as communicating with the team though, it is just strictly Plutio and Skype. That's how we communicate.
Okay. So are you looking forward to work for looking forward to work with any other tools in the coming future?
Yeah, my eyes are always open to new tools and ideas. Like, I'm always looking to see what SaaS products are out there. Not only to just utilize the tools for our own in-house purposes, but even to get ideas for like how we can incorporate those concepts and or even integrations with our products. So I'm always open to new ideas for sure.
That's great. So moving on, like I have a very interesting question for you. So how are you going to disrupt when you're becoming a multi-billion-dollar company?
How are we going to disrupt the industry?
Waas model, using Waas model.
Yeah, no, I honestly think that what we're working on is going to be a disruption. It's going to change not only Waas, but like just in terms of how the agency model as a whole. It's all based off of websites as a service. So if you can find an efficient way to set up websites and get your customers up and running quickly, and not only that, but be able to service them on a more more scalable way, I think is going to really disrupt the entire model that's out there now. So I'm excited because there's just so much that we have in store. And
you're keeping me more excited. Like I'm actually very excited to want to know what are you building on. Anyway, I will keep my ears open, my eyes open for later on your update. But let me just put it like this. What would be your next 6-month milestone apart from the plugin which you're working in right now?
An exit strategy, you said?
Yeah. What are your marketing strategies you're going to be?
Marketing strategies.
Next 6 months.
Yes. In the next 6 months. So that's the thing, like I was mentioning earlier. And once we get the training completed, then the next thing that we're going to do is really focus heavy on just awareness. Again, not many people know about this. And so we're going to get out there, whether it's going to be Facebook advertising or it's going to be a lot of, podcast and all this stuff. We're really wanting to get the name out there because again, not many people really are aware of this. And but I don't feel like if I got the awareness now, like I've been doing a fair share of getting awareness out there. I mean, our group has grown quite a bit, but I haven't made the major push that I intend to make because I didn't have all the pieces together. And now I believe with the training that will be complete by Black Friday, that we'll have all the pieces in place and ready to go. So now I'm ready to just start generating awareness. Yeah, that's the strategy going forward.
So have you already designed a marketing strategy or these are the plans you have already mentioned, like podcasting? This needs a lot of attention or a lot of efforts, right? So it's not going to be, you can just develop something in just a single day and you can just do it. So what have you actually planned to bring the surprising moment for everyone that Blitz is actually bringing up with something new? So have you thought of anything such like that?
Yeah, I think if I understand your question correctly, yeah, we have a strategy in place. Aside from just podcasts and stuff, we are also integrating, like making very strategic integrations with our plugins and future plugins, so
Okay.
that way we can reach larger markets utilizing their audiences as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, like for example, a lot of our plugins now are starting to go more towards the rebranding
Okay.
of other plugins because inside of a WAS environment, it's if you think of like Wix, for example, you don't go on Wix and you see other people's products and services. You don't see another page builder by Elementor or anybody else. It's all Wix based, right? And so we think that it's important to white label that entire experience, rebrand the entire experience for your customers, not because you're trying to hide anything, but more so that they have that unique, personalized experience with your brand. And so with that said, there's other plugins out there that we utilize that we just don't want to be a bunch of different branded names throughout our entire setup. And so we're creating the rebrand plugins, and that will help us reach their markets, because whether they're setting up a WAS or not, they may have a need to want to hide the fact that they're utilizing a specific plugin. Like for example, we just did a rebrand plugin for, let's see, we have one for Amelia, which is a booking plugin. We
Okay.
have one for Lifter LMS, which is a learning management system. And
Okay.
then we also have one for Elementor. And
Mhm.
I believe we have one other one, but we're working on so many of them that I just can't keep track of them. But the point is that we're just trying to make it the experience for the end users to be just seamless with your own brand. And I think that's a good strategy to go.
That's great. Like you have a multiple projects you're working on right now.
Yeah, we have several plugins that we're working.
So, what is the biggest challenge you have faced till today as a startup founder?
Yeah, I would say because we're bootstrapping it, probably the biggest challenge is just making sure that we have enough funds to keep up with our ideas,
Okay.
and so we have to come to market with our products sooner than later to just to keep the funds going. And so I'm excited for Black Friday. I think that's going to be another boost, and because we've had several interests into our training, and so I think that will help us get to that next level until we can finish this big project that I know will just. I think that's going to be the thing that retires me from having to do agency work, because currently we're still doing agency work for clients here and there. And so ultimately I'd like to get away from doing that altogether and just focus 100% on WAS if I can. And
Okay.
so I think that that's the next level, and I think that's going to get us there for
And I'm
sure.
wishing you all the best for the launch for the Black Friday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
so, before we wind up, I just wanted to ask you one final question. And based on your previous experience into digital marketing, I request you to give us three advices for all the young entrepreneurs out there who are trying to learn digital marketing or going to start a new startup. What would be the best three advices would you like to give to us?
Yeah, I would say the top three things, and not in any particular order, would number one is to create a productized service. Like somehow productize your service, whether that's through websites as a service, or you're creating plugins, or you're creating a SaaS, whatever that is, create a product. But then the second one would be around that product, make sure you pick a specific niche. I think it's a lot easier to target a specific type of audience or marketplace than it is to just try to be broad to everybody. And so that will help you create your product as well. And then the last is create a community around your product, so that helps you become the, I guess the key person in that space. And so you want to be known as like the lead figure. And so I would say do those three things, and that will help you become successful for sure.
That's wonderful. So create a product to know the niche around it and build a community around it.
Yeah,
That's
become a
the
key person
three
of influence. Yeah.
exactly. So that's the three best advices by Mike. So thank you for joining. This was really great having you on the show. It was indeed my pleasure, interviewing you for on Blitz Industries. And I'm wishing you all the best for your upcoming launches. And I'm eagerly waiting for the launch as well. So keep me posted. So this is Michael Short, all the way from Southern California, joining with us from Blitz Industries. Thank you so much, Blitz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
It's always great to have someone on the show with such a great expertise. So um, I will leave all the links to reach out to Michael Short in the description below. So he's very active in Facebook. I noted that. So I will also share his Facebook, LinkedIn, and his email, so you can directly reach out to him. You can ask for advice if you can learn from him. He's a great person. Thank you once again. So
Thank
until next time, because I'm expecting the launch, and after that launch, we will be having this call again to discuss what is your product is all about, what is how the plugin works. So until that, thank you for joining. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.